Richard, thank you for joining us.
Delighted, thank you. I'm on my way to Johannesburg now, but not until I've spoken to you.
Okay, great, which is great to hear. So I wanted to find out from you, when you look at those numbers, you've got to be pleased, but where would you say most of your work went in, and where were you most pleased with the efforts that you put in?
Yeah, well, I'm very pleased for the team. I think that they've done a good job in the last 6 months. I think what I'm pleased about is we took the action 18 months ago, back in January 2017, because we could see the economy was troubled, and therefore we needed to be fitter and leaner so we could invest for the future. And therefore, the big difference for us over the last 9 months is we've been in a position to give people lower prices and better promotions at a time when they've needed it most. And, you know, we're lucky enough to have got more customers and could announce a good result today.
Yeah, so you speak of more customers, but you also make a note of the fact that you invested a lot in your customers. And in addition to that, of course, we know historically you have had a downsize in terms of the numbers of staff that you were able to lay off. Now, to what extent would you say the biggest contributor in there would have been those layoffs and the cost that you saved therein, or perhaps it was more the extra fit that you were able to get into the stores?
Well, I think they're both the same. I mean, the truth is we didn't lay off anybody. We had a voluntary program, so there were no pressed men or women. It was volunteers. In fairness, I'm pleased to announce that Pick n Pay over the last few years is employing more people than it's ever employed before. So it was just about right sizing in certain stores and certain parts of the business, and that has enabled us to invest in what people need most, which is great quality product at lower prices. And I think with the tough economic times the country's been facing, the timing of that has been proved to be very popular with customers in South Africa.
Yeah, I've got in the studio with me Richard Brasher. He's from Investact, and he's got a question he wants to pose to you before I ask you about how to make all the Pick n Pays like the one that you're showing now. I know that's the one in William Nicol, but Byron?
Hi, Richard. Congrats on the numbers. Quick question. You yourself personally have been lauded for the really successful rewards program that Pick n Pay have implemented over the last 3 or 4 years. Do you guys, maybe you've already got something in the pipeline, an app-based type setup? You know, a lot of us are tired of having all these cards in our wallet, and I know having used the Starbucks app and that kind of rewards program, it's really, really efficient and really useful. Do you have anything like that in the pipeline?
Yeah, we don't just have it in the pipeline. You can actually do it right now on the Pick n Pay app. You don't have to carry a card. You just need to register it on the app. And in fairness, if you just offer people your phone at the checkout, then you can earn your points. And today I did announce that electronically, rather than going to the kiosk to get your discounts, as of the 24th of October, you can actually redeem your currency at all of our tills. So, you know, you can get a discount off your shopping. So I agree with you. The future is more digitized. We issue an astonishing that we issue nearly 60 million personalized coupons. And the redemption of those coupons, where we personalize it to people's shopping behavior, the redemption of those coupons has increased nearly 50% in the last 6 months.
Yeah, and the next question is going to be, excuse me, sustainability, of course, after delivering these numbers that we see here. Everybody speaks about the difficult economy that we have got. We've got a new finance minister. We've got a president who's trying to show up business confidence again. You're able to see, when you look into your looking glass, if you'll be able to repeat those numbers or go better?
Well, we always hope to wake in the morning and do better. I mean, that, you know, shopkeeping's about that. We do roughly the same thing, and we try and do it better each day. You know, look, I was born an optimist, fortunately, because, you know, an optimist and a pessimist has the same life, but actually one has a good one and one's miserable. So who knows what the future holds? All I know is that in my experience of 30 years of retailing is if you wake every morning trying to make your business more efficient and give customers better quality, better value and better service, you'll have a better business. And you know, I'm glad we've managed to put the bar up, and therefore we've now got to get over it. But, you know, as good athletes, we want to do our personal best. And I'm still positive about the future. I look at the market as having huge potential. You know, at Pick n Pay, we decided to shut the excuse department a year last January, and we only look at opportunities. And it's a huge market. It's a growing economy, even if it's not growing as fast as we would like. We're supportive of some of the moves that have been talked about. And the population's growing, and we're grocers who sell people goods, sustainable and sustaining fresh fruit, vegetables, meat, and produce. So we're excited about the future, and I think that the company is a good business. It's been around 51 years, and in the last 3 or 4 years, we've started to find a bit of form. And I'm looking forward to the festive period because it's a good time to help people save more and get more.
I hope you threw away the key as well that I was looking up, that excuse manager. Let's talk about the rest of Africa. I see almost flat growth once you factored in the impact of the currencies, 0.3%. But surely the shock has got to be Zimbabwe. And one has got to say, you can't repeat that.
Well, Zimbabwe surprises us in many ways, some good and some less good. What I have found there is that it's a good place to trade. The customers react well to initiatives we've done. I mean, clearly the performance is in a tough economy there, probably tougher than ours, is that we have to be on our mettle. I'm not about to set the budget for the guys to increase sales by 30% again next year or the profits by 90%. What we are doing at the moment, and it demonstrated it last week when there's been a little bit of shortage of stock in the market, but not in Pick n Pay, is no one put the prices up. We kept ours exactly where they were, because if we look after the customers in Zimbabwe, and Zimbabwe in their economy can start to make progress, then that will benefit all of us.
2 quick questions before you go. The target for Africa, where does that sit and where are you now? And then secondly, there's been a question popped into my ear about Bitcoin and Pick n Pay and how you are integrating into that.
Yeah, well, the first one first. Look, Africa's the rest of my life and probably my successor's successor. So it's not a quick win. You've got to be committed for the long term. And I think on this one for us, slow and steady wins the race. We've had a measured expansion into Africa. We're in 6 countries outside of Africa, and clearly it's a huge opportunity. But you have to be patient and you have to be sensible. And I think that giving people what they need, which is day-to-day food products with a small amount of general merchandise, is very relevant. And we're staying in all the countries that we're in, and we believe that there's opportunity both east and west. Okay. But we have to manage that carefully. Regarding Bitcoin, we out of curiosity just set it up in our sort of staff shop, just to check whether the technology can work. We then got our knuckles wrapped by various regulators checking what we're doing. So we're not sort of gun runners or smugglers or anything. But technology is important, and I think in retail, technology can enhance, can improve, as your colleague said just now, in terms of digitizing things, making things quicker and simpler. People are going to live by their phone, and you have to be alert to the different currencies. And we're alert to them, but until we get legal guidance from regulators and central banks, then we'll study it rather than trade in it.
Oh, I see. Okay, sounds like that one is going to be parked for a while. Maybe a little bit like the excuse manager. But the excuse manager is dead. I think we'll consign the excuse manager to the cemetery. Thank you, Richard. That's Richard. Thank you, Richard Brasher, CEO of Pick n Pay.